Do you ever feel like you're getting a stiff, achy neck relating to your migraines? Or do you feel like you have some tenderness at the base of your skull that maybe radiates up into your head? Or do you feel like your upper traps are really tender to the touch and stiff? Do you feel like you have some stiffness and achiness in these thick muscles in the front of the neck called the sternocleidomastoid muscles? I'm going to show you some exercises that should really help with this sort of thing, and you can explore them yourself to see how they maybe address some of that stiffness and pain. Let's go. Now the key here is that these exercises are not really a one size fits all and should be kind of selected based on your level. So anytime I'm working with somebody, we're assessing how strong their neck is, what are the priorities that need to be selected here. So, if you feel like your neck is particularly weak or has some more stiffness that you're kind of worried about the safety of, start on the light side of these. Start with things that just feel okay and then slowly work from there. If any of these things hurt, you don't have to push through that. And if you have a history of injury to the neck, you can also start by just speaking with your physician or your physical therapist to make sure that these are right for you. Because this is not really medical advice, this is more some strategies that may help for exploration of your own body. First up, I'm going to show you an exercise called self-snags, which are great for addressing some of that stiffness and achiness at the base of the skull, especially if you feel like you have a difference in your ability to rotate. So if you want to try this out, you can. What you would do is you tuck your chin and then you turn your head to each side. And if you notice a difference, maybe you notice some tension or you can't turn quite as far to one of the directions, then this is a great way to start helping with that. So what you'll do is you'll grab the edge of this towel and you want to make sure it's sitting up here right at the base of the skull. And then one hand, you'll let it kind of drape down. One hand that's over top will pull across the cheekbone while the other hand anchors down. So this is going to help provide a little bit of a stretch, and you'll find that it should target right at the base of the skull there, and this will help to alleviate some of that tension in a nice way that you may not be able to find elsewhere. So the key here is tuck your chin. Remember, if you're turning your head, let's say to my left here, then my left hand grabs and pulls across the cheekbone while the right hand anchors down. If you want to go the other way, you just switch. So the right hand goes over top, the left hand pulls down a little bit to stabilize, and then you pull across. And you can play around with how much your chin is tucked or elevated, like this. And it should be gentle at first. You can play around with pulsing with it. I tend to have people do between 5 and 10 rounds per side, maybe or 5 or 10 repetitions per side, or potentially, you can do several rounds of this too if it feels good. But I also pair this with more active exercises, so let's dive into those.
All right, so what we're doing here is something called cervical flexion. The idea here is that you can lay on your back and put your head near the edge of the bed as far back as is comfortable. So if you need more support, you can go lower towards your feet or go further back if it feels okay to lean your head back further. The larger the range of motion, the more challenging this will be. So select it based on your capacity. This should be basically, focusing on tucking your chin too. Now for this exercise, this is called cervical extension, and the same rules apply here. If you need to stop at a smaller range of motion for your comfort, that is okay. But the idea here is that we're strengthening the back of the neck muscles. And this is a way that we can provide a little bit of extra support if it's bothering your mid back or low back, but is a great way to introduce some strengthening to the neck. And now for this one, we're going to add a little bit of extra resistance to the back of the head from your hands. And this also works some of the muscles on the back side of the shoulder blades. So this can be really nice for improving some of that discomfort there. Now we're going to work on the sides of the neck. These are going to be really nice if you get some of that tension in the side of the neck. And you might notice a pop or two here and there. That's okay as long as it doesn't feel too bad. And this is a leveled up version. So if you're feeling like those are easy, you can put some of resistance from your own hands. You can also do this with some external resistance, like putting an ankle weight or something on your head, or holding a light weight plate on there if you're at the gym. It might feel best to have a towel underneath it though. Now we're demonstrating the other side just for some clarity. And of course, with all of these things, if you feel any weird stuff like numbness or tingling going down your arms or pain in the neck, just stop. You don't have to push through any of that. And that might be a sign that you should seek the care of a physician or a physical therapist.
Next up, let's address some of that upper trap tightness. So what I like to do is grab a backpack if you're at home, or you can use weights at the gym. But we are going to simply do a shrug. I'll show you from both sides. You want to kind of go up and back a little bit to strengthen and elongate. You want to elongate and contract the upper trap muscle through its full range. So let it go all the way down, pull it all the way up. And you want it to be hard enough that it gets tired at about 10 to 15 repetitions probably. And contrary to popular belief, we don't need to necessarily stretch these muscles excessively. We probably are going to be better off helping these muscles feel strong and capable through their full range of motion. You can also try some other exercises such as lateral flies, pulling weights out to the side, overhead pressing, getting these whole shoulder girdle muscles really nice and strong is a great way to start approaching management of that stiffness and achiness in the shoulders and neck. With all of these things, I think it usually works best if you create a sort of circuit with it all. So maybe if your neck is particularly stiff one day, you can start with the snags with the towel. So you would just get nice and worked out a little bit to each side, exploring which areas feel the tightest, changing the difference in chin elevation or depression. So basically changing how much your neck is flexed or extended. And then doing things like the neck exercises that are moving through all the different planes of movement. And then working into some shoulder exercises, doing some shrugging, some lateral flies, some overhead press. These things are phenomenal for starting to manage some of the neck stiffness and pain that can be associated with migraines. As always, migraines tend to do better if you have a regular physical activity routine that incorporates cardiovascular training and resistance training. But incorporating some of these neck and shoulder girdle specific exercises can be really helpful for addressing some of that neck pain in particular. Thank you.